Worse in the Bahamas, where Category 5 Dorian battered parts of the islands for nearly 2 days. Michael Capone is with the group Global Empowerment Mission, trying to get people flown out.
Treasure Cay right now is basically, it's an evacuation site. There's not one single house that's got a roof on it.
Dorian blamed for at least 30 deaths in the Bahamas. We're learning more about that boat fire off the Southern California coast that killed 34 people.
One crew member says he awoke to a noise, left his bunk, and saw flames erupting from the galley area, says Jennifer Hamondy, investigator with the National Transportation Safety Board. Of the crew,
went to the double doors of the galley to try to get in, to get to the passengers, but it was engulfed in flames.
All 5 crew members escaped and are cooperating with the investigation, says the NTSB. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
New report on jobs across the country comes out in a few hours. Bankrate's Washington Bureau Chief Mark Hamrick says hiring's been slowing.
Jobs added on a monthly basis down 30+% on a year-over-year basis.
But he still expects the report will show around 160,000 jobs added last month. This is ABC News.
Ready to create your own income with your own home-based business where there's no such thing as getting laid off? If a billionaire entrepreneur spent 5 years and $20 million searching for the next big trend, wouldn't you want to know what he found? If you're serious about making money from home without having to leave home, then write this down. www.goherenext.com. You decide your income. Get the facts now. Goherenext.com.
Did you know that the IRS is getting more aggressive these days? They're using private agencies to track you down. Don't wait. If you owe more than $10,000, take advantage of the Fresh Start Initiative, a program in place that can help you now. You can save thousands and possibly have your taxes forgiven. There's help for those of you who owe $10,000 or more, but it's important that you take action before these programs change. Call the tax experts at Oxford Tax Partners for a free consultation now at 800-575-1919. That's 800-575-1919.
After the deadly attack in El Paso, Texas, 2 communities are coming together through football.
Eastwood High, located in El Paso, Texas, site of a mass shooting. The accused gunman attended Plano Senior High. Thursday night, the schools met on the football field. Eastwood coach Julio Lopez.
It's nice to actually just be yelling about some football and playing some football. So we're just happy. It's a great environment, a great crowd.
The bands from both schools performed together, the cheerleaders cheering on both teams. Plano may have won the game, but Coach J. Don McCullough says both teams share in this victory.
You just get this feeling that they're never going to quit.
Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Anger in Oakland after a jury found one person not guilty and couldn't reach a verdict for another after a deadly warehouse fire in 2016. Both were accused of manslaughter in the so-called ghost ship fire. Judy Howe lost her son.
I've been here like almost every day for over 5 months. For the jury to come back with this, it's frustrating.
Tyler Smith is the lawyer for the man found not guilty, Max Harris.
It was just ridiculous that they charged Max in the first place. It was almost comical. It was transparent. It was a scapegoat for them.
History in the U.S. Army. For the first time ever, 2 sisters are now generals. Major General Maria Barrett was commissioned in 1988. Her sister, Brigadier General Paula Lodi, joined 2 years later. This is ABC News.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Call Total Financial now at 800-899-8922. That's 800-899-8922.
The Mountain State Fair is September 6th through the 15th, and Rutherford County will have a presence there. NC Tractor will have a selection of Massey Ferguson equipment on display. If you visit the fair, look for them, but even if you don't get to the fair, you can still get big savings here at home. See NC Tractor and Farm Supply, 299 Railroad Avenue, and get from $300 off up to $1,000 off a new Massey Ferguson. See if Phil Sheehan or any member of his team and save. This offer expires November 1st, 2019.
Clouds early will gradually give way to mostly sunny skies as we get into the afternoon. Our temperatures will top in the mid to upper 80s and some spots could reach the lower 90s. It's going to be a mostly clear night for us with temperatures falling into the mid 60s. Highs for tomorrow will head into the mid to upper 80s under mostly sunny conditions as well. Expect pleasant conditions as we get into the weekend. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
We can describe our weather for the next 2 or 3 days in 4 letters. N-I-C-E. Nice, sunny today with highs getting up to about 89 and a little bit of wind blowing about 7 miles per hour. Clear tonight, lows around 64. Then on Saturday, we're 89 again and mostly sunny. And Sunday, 87 and mostly sunny. If any rain at all, looks like right now there's only a 20% chance of that developing on Monday and Tuesday of next week. No rain this weekend at all here for us in the foothills. 67 degrees right now at WCAB in Rutherfordton. So glad to have you join us this morning for the morning wake-up call. This is hour number 2. If you're just waking up, we're glad to have you. I have these death announcements this morning. Amanda Jean Reed of Polk County, infant daughter of Jonathan Reed and Christy Tony, went to her Heavenly Father Wednesday, August 28th. A celebration of life will be conducted from 12 until 6 on Sunday, September the 8th at Connor's Country Kitchen, 2668 Oakland Road, Forest City. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services is providing services for the family. An online guest registry available at harrelsonfuneralhome.com for Amanda Jean Reed. Jerry Dean Green, age 63 of Rutherfordton, died Friday, August 30th. A memorial service will be held at noon Saturday in the Pageant at King Chapel with Reverend Mike Connor officiating. Visitation will be from 11 until 12 prior to the service. The Pageant and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements. An online guest registry available at www.pageantking.com for Jerry Dean Green. Mildred H. Harris, age 93 of Forest City, passed away Wednesday at Oak Grove Nursing Center in Rutherfordton. A memorial graveside service will be conducted at 11 o'clock Saturday at Rutherford County Memorial Cemetery. Family will receive friends immediately following the service at the graveside. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for Mildred H. Harris. Terry Owens, age 57 of Mooresboro, died Tuesday, September 3rd at his residence. A memorial service for Terry will be held at a later date. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services will announce that, and they've been entrusted with the arrangements for Terry Owens of Mooresboro. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. Complete information on these and others as they become available to us can be heard this morning at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 this afternoon as part of the afternoon report here on the most information for the foothills. 100.9 FM, 590 AM. Coming up this morning during the 8 o'clock hour will be a busy hour. We've got several guests coming in. Mr. Friday Night will be talking with us. Also, Mr. Chamber of Commerce will also be talking with us. We've got some tickets to give away for a big concert coming up at the Foundation on Saturday night. So we have a busy hour. 8:30, of course, Word of Faith continues to speak out. So 8 o'clock is going to be a busy time for us, but we're always happy to stay busy. Always happy to present to you the kind of things we feel like you'd like to know about and give you opportunities to win. This is a winningest station I know about right here. Speaking of tonight, Brevard at East High School is our game of the week. Chase has a bye week. RS is at Polk County. Thomas Jefferson at Winston-Salem Carver this evening. A lot of high school football action. And Mr. Friday Night will talk to us about that a little after 8 o'clock today. Then tomorrow, UNC and Miami at 6 o'clock. Countdown to kickoff. Airtime is 7. And then on Sunday, of course, we have the Panthers and the LA Rams. A lot of sports right here on WCAB.
The former mayor of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel, has a brother, Ezekiel, nicknamed Zeke. He's a medical doctor. He was one of the chief architects of Obamacare. Zeke chairs the Department of Medical Ethics and Health Policy at the University of Pennsylvania. Now, 5 years ago, the Atlantic magazine published an article that he wrote. It was entitled, "Why I Hope to Die at 75." He said Americans live too long in a diminished state. He doubted whether older Americans' consumption of resources is worth their meager contribution to society. Well, now that he's 62, Dr. Emanuel was asked what he thinks now. He says he's not changed his mind. He says only a very small number of people over 75 are active, engaged, and creative. He criticizes Americans for claiming that children are our most valuable resource when we don't act that way. He thinks it's terrible that the government spends way more on the health needs of senior citizens than on kids. Well, the kids don't get sick. Zeke intends to practice what he preaches. When he turns 75, he's planning to call Bernie Sanders and say, "Hey, can you abort me?" He wishes more of you would do the same. After 75, skip medical care, go away somewhere, and die after calling a Democrat president or candidate. Quickly, so more tax money can be used for the children. Now you know what passes for medical ethics on the left these days. You have been warned.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Good morning. Good morning.
Time changes everything. For me, becoming a single father of 2 young kids, it changed my ability to use my timeshare. The frustration of not being able to use it was compounded by annual maintenance fees that nearly tripled over a 3-year period. I was desperate to get out. After searching online for sell my timeshare or get out of my timeshare, it just looked like one scam after another. I needed a real, permanent, and legitimate way to get out of this for good. I'm Brandon Reed, the founder of Timeshare Exit Team. We will get you out of the timeshare you can't use or can't afford anymore. We get people out safely, legally, and permanently. We are more successful because we have more solutions. Schedule a free consultation to review your ownership situation and find the best strategy for you. If we can't get you out, we will give you a full refund. Call Timeshare Exit Team today.
Call 800-905-4268. That's 800-905-4268. Call 800-905-4268.
Call Timeshare Exit Team today.
Southern Carpet is the showplace for your floor covering needs. For example, life-proof luxury vinyl plank and tile, waterproof, pet, and kid-friendly. Southern Carpet has all grades of carpet in stock for your home or apartment. Names like Shaw, Dreamweaver, Mohawk, Tarkett, IVC, and so much more. It's a showplace of quality carpet and floor covering. For the best selection in town, depend on Southern Carpet and get great installation prices. Come see Clayton or Jeff for your flooring needs. They'll floor ya. 1512 West Main Street in Forest City and on the web at southerncarpet.net.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers of Sisk Family Ford. They have the proven record of the best deal. It's your place to shop for your truck. Get a good look at the selection of SUVs, Escapes, Edge, and Explorers. Sisk Family Ford can put you in the family car or truck of your choice any day you want to make a change. Try one on for a ride. Make your next deal a Sisk Family Ford deal. Shop local and get your best agreement for the next automobile. Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City.
Bill Doolin grew up to be a 6'2", 150-pound cowboy in Oklahoma. Looking for some easy money, he joined up with an outlaw gang known as the Daltons. Following the Coffeyville, Kansas disaster, in which the Dalton gang was shot to pieces, Bill Doolin decided he would start his own gang. Bill and his gang robbed banks, trains, rustled, and murdered, along with selling whiskey to the Indians. In 1893, Bill married a woman who was, in modern parlance, a PK, which stands for preacher's kid. It seems that it was less that she was looking for a wild life than it was that Bill was looking to settle down. But the pull of the life of crime on Bill was too great, and he went back to robbing trains. By now, Bill had a price of $5,000 on his head. While lounging in a bathhouse in Arkansas, Bill was arrested and jailed. But he was out of jail in a short time, the result of being a part of a mass breakout. Bill Doolin was sure he wanted to go straight now, but there was that reward on his head. Then on August 25, 1896, U.S. Marshal Heck Thomas arrived at Doolin's home. Doolin's wife explained that Doolin was in the bedroom dead. He had died earlier of consumption. Marshal Thomas went to the bedroom and, confirming that Doolin was dead, blasted Doolin with both barrels of a shotgun. Now, why did Marshal Thomas do this dastardly deed? It seems that the $5,000 reward could not be collected if Doolin died of natural causes. Was Marshal Thomas some kind of a fiend? No, it was an act of kindness. For after collecting the reward, Marshal Thomas gave the $5,000 to Doolin's widow. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Good story there from Dakota Lipsay. 17 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Friday morning report. Let's go to the phones now. And we have Deputy King on the phone right now to give us an update from the Sheriff's Department. Good morning. How you doing?
Doing good. How you doing today, Jim?
Doing great. Glad it's Friday. Glad that we got good weather here.
Yes, sir.
What's on the report?
A little bit windy.
It is, yeah. But, boy, I tell you, we sure, I'm sure glad we didn't live out on the coast, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Even though we could use a little bit of rain.
We need some rain. Yep. Tell us what you got on your list.
In the past 24 hours, Sheriff's Department has responded to 182 calls for service. There were 10 arrests processed in the jail, and the jail currently has 176 people incarcerated. The one incident report we have today was Shirley Morgan from Ashland Drive in Ellenboro reported larceny of a firearm and a misdemeanor larceny. Looks like a revolver and some medication and $200 in U.S. currency were taken in that incident. On our arrest reports, a Chad Piercy from Helicopter Place in Union Mills was arrested and charged with possession of a Schedule II controlled substance and resist obstruct delay of an officer, received a $7,500 secured bond. Jeremy Airwood from Shasta Lane in Mooresboro was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 secured bond. Kevin Smith from Hardin Road in Forest City was served with a show cause order. Jose Rojas from Willow Run Drive in Forest City was also served with a show cause order. And a Dustin Harrison from Gillespie Road in Mooresboro was served with a violation of a domestic violence protection order and was placed on domestic violence hold. And that's all we have for today.
Deputy King, I do appreciate that. Thank you so very much for that. Do you have a safe weekend?
Thank you, Jim. You have a good one.
See you now. 19 minutes after 7.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Here's Amber now with a report from 911 Communications Center. Amber, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thank you. Tell us what's on your report.
In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 461 911 calls as administrative calls, which has consisted of 35 calls for EMS and 17 for rescue. There were 182 calls for the Sheriff's Office, 72 for Forest City, 4 for Lake Lure, 64 for Rutherford, and 60 for Spindale. Forest City responded to a smoke in a structure. Rutherford responded to a motor vehicle accident. STA responded to a motor vehicle accident with Cindy Mush assisting. Spindale responded to a motor vehicle accident, and Shingle Hollow responded to a motor vehicle accident. And that's all we have.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate it, and you have a good weekend.
You too. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye-bye. It's 7:21. High school football action this evening right here live on the radio. Our game of the week is Brevard at East at 6:45. Countdown.
When you need daycare services for your adult loved one, Rutherford Life Services is always there for a dependable and loving environment. Rutherford Life offers a place to go during the daytime for medical monitoring, nutritional meals, and creative activities. Caregivers can go to work knowing that their loved one is in a safe and reliable place. Rutherford Life is licensed by the North Carolina Division of Aging. Rutherford Life has a full staff of trained professionals who show love and support. Call them today and let them answer any questions you may have concerning adult daycare services. 828-288-1697 or visit the facility at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Now we're heading over toward the Shiloh, Danieltown, Oakland Community SDO Fire District, and Ruby Taylor is there to give us a report. Good morning, Ruby. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
For an old woman.
Well, it's good to be old.
Yep, it is.
What's on the report today?
The fire department had one call, and that was to a vehicle accident, and Sandy Mush assisted them. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Iris Harden, Jeff McCraney, and Reagan McCraney having birthday today, and hope they have a nice day. Then tomorrow, Maggie Lale, hope she has a nice day tomorrow. Then Sunday, Mark Elliott, Carol Lattimore, and Jake Cochran is having birthday Sunday. Hope they all have a nice day, and the signs are in the thighs today, going to the knees tomorrow and Sunday. And Jim, that's all I got.
Thanks so much, Ruby. Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
At McCurry Deck Motors, you can browse a selection of vehicles that includes all of the top models in Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC lineups. The McCurry Deck Motors lineup of vehicles checks all the boxes, ensuring that they will have the perfect vehicle for any car shopper that visits their lot. Come visit and see what's in store for you and your family with the McCurry Deck quality reputation of fair deals and customer service. Try the Chevy. Find new roads with Chevy. At McCurry Deck Motors, we're the home of Chevy, Buick, and GMC. 1740 U.S. Highway 74A, Forest City. You know, I've read oftentimes where people have difficulty hearing. They start closing themselves off and isolating themselves. It's one of the earlier things that on says dementia and leading to Alzheimer's sometime. Not always, but that's one of the contributing factors. Someone who starts isolating themselves because they can't hear well. Well, we can set forth an effort to do something about that earlier on. When you begin to recognize that hearing loss is there, go to Miracle Ear and have that free hearing test done and find out more about how serious that hearing is, and if it's ready to move forward with a hearing instrument, you're at the right place. Miracle Ear. Satisfied customers around the world. It's an American-made product, and we've got an office right here in Forest City that can help answer all your questions about it. Lisa Terry's the specialist there in Forest City. She has some assistants that'll help you if you have other questions. There's so many features you'll appreciate. So don't neglect it any longer. Don't put it off any longer. Step forward. Make a decision. You want to hear better? With the help of Miracle Ear. Call 368-4126. That's 368-4126. Go find them at 1512 West Main Street, Suite 102 in Forest City. Let's check it out with Homer up in Rumbling Ball and see how many Bears are out this morning. Homer, how you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Doing good.
Well, we'll probably have a lot of Bears out this morning.
Really?
Well, considering what I've seen yesterday.
What was that?
I was riding through the timeshare area Right in the middle of the road was a big mama bear, little cub. Bear walked over to the trash can, me sitting right there looking at it. Bear walked to the trash can, opened the lid, got a bag of trash out, and took off. just like a human.
Oh, my goodness.
I sat right there and witnessed it. Went on around to another street. Another bear, different location, was in the trash can.
Oh, wow.
Within 5 minutes.
Wow.
I blew the horn. It ran in the woods, turned around and looked at me. So they're getting pretty popular, pretty brave. I tried to get a video, but they get gone so quick. Seen two of them do that yesterday. That was kind of surprising.
Well, folks don't have to go to Cades Cove to see bears. They can just drive to Rumbling Ball to see bears, can't they?
You can drive Rumbling Ball, particular one or two areas. You're more than likely to see a bear. That's for sure.
Well, I'm glad you were in the car and they were outside.
That's where I stay in the car. I do not get out.
I don't blame you.
So it's getting to be a daily occurrence. I'm getting pretty used to it.
Well,
Probably the same way today.
They'll be going to the woods for too long, won't they?
Yeah. Cooler weather, hunting season, they'll get kind of scarce just a little bit. That's what I try to explain to everybody. But other than the bears, things are pretty busy here. A lot of people are coming in from the low country area near the coast to get away from the storm. Golf has been pretty popular, I understand. Had like 60-something people on the books for yesterday. The card attendant just told me there was over 100 playing.
Wow.
So that's good for business. It's probably going to continue all weekend. Golf is getting to be a little more popular every weekend here, which that's good. We welcome them on.
Yeah.
Other than that, no reports on my books, no breakfasts, no cookouts, yard sale, nothing this week, but I'm sure we'll got something coming up pretty soon. Yeah. Weather, pretty nice. A little light breeze up here. Feels really good this morning. 71 midnight. Currently, it is 69. Like I said, we got a pretty busy crowd here this weekend. Things are still going in full force. Everything's been going good. No problems, no delays or anything like that. So I think this weekend's going to continue to be that way, which we kind of like it.
Yeah, certainly going to be a beautiful weekend.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. There's going to be a lot of people out, especially it being the weekend and everything.
Yeah. Well, all right.
Other than that, that's about all I got for you today. We'll talk at you again tomorrow.
I appreciate the report. You have a great weekend.
Thank you. Y'all do the same.
All right, bye.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
You know, breast cancer is the second most common kind of cancer in women. About 1 in 8 women born today in the United States will get breast cancer at some point. Many women can survive breast cancer if it's found and treated early. A mammogram can help find breast cancer early when it's easiest to treat. If an abnormality is detected on your screening mammogram, a variety of diagnostic procedures are available to determine if your spot or lump is cancerous. Image-guided biopsies, ultrasounds, and surgical biopsies can be performed by board-certified surgeons from Rutherford Surgical Associations on an outpatient basis. So take the first step in breast health and visit the Mammography Place at Rutherford Regional Health System. The Mammography Place is here to help with a caring staff and the most modern digital technology. You can schedule your own mammogram by calling 828-286-5380. Let's check in now up at Hudlow Fire District in Bob Hodge. Good morning. How are you doing?
We're doing just fine on this Friday morning.
Well, you ready for this beautiful weekend?
Oh, yeah. Looks like it's going to be another warm day, don't it?
It does indeed.
Looks like it's going to be warm all weekend. But we had a little breeze blowing yesterday. Kept things cooler than what could have been there yesterday, so that felt pretty good. But Jim, up here with the fire department. We hadn't had any calls during the night. I want to say happy birthday to Gloria Samuels and Ronnie Dream this morning. And Jim, things are running along good and quiet up here, and look like it's going to be a pretty weekend, and I hope you have a good weekend.
Well, thanks, Bob. You too. It's going to be nice enough. You get out and walk the trail today. You walk up and down this Railston Trail over here. You and I, Virginia, ought to do that today.
Well, yeah, that'd be just fine then.
Have a good weekend, Bob.
Oh, you too.
Thanks. Bye.
Save-A-Lot Grocery, White Oak Plaza, Spindale has hundreds of super low prices on most of your favorite name brand items. They have 500 plus prices lowered across the entire store. Stock up on fresh meats, produce, frozen foods, snack foods, and your favorite beverages and pastries. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 9, Sunday, 10 to 8. Save-A-Lot Grocery, White Oak Plaza, Spindale.
People who know best know the wise shoppers go to Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply for several reasons. The prices are better, the choices are greater, and you will like the service you get. Right now, you can enjoy special pricing on assorted deer products. Also purchase fish mocks, 100 count, 250 milligram, only $15.99 at Farmer's Friend. Better pricing on value-packed dog food. George has used farm equipment you should see before you buy someplace else. Refill your 20-pound propane tank for $10.99. Now, that's a great value. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply, located 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton.
Well, the drop-in stores are very popular in our area. They've been in business for 38 years. And they started their business when Ronald Reagan was president, and home mortgage rates were 17.5%. A few things have changed, but the drop-in is still the business of giving you great buys and great values every day. Check out some of these specials. 28-ounce body armor, 2 for $4. 20-ounce Dasani purified water, only 99 cents. New Bolt Gatorade, 2 for $4. And don't forget these Super Deli specials. Small garden salad, only $3.49. Hot hunk pizza with 32-ounce tea is $3.49. 1 chicken strip, 2 hot wings, 3 potato wedges, and roll, only $3.49. Single-size drop-in pizza, only $7.99. All this and more at our family-run, family-owned local business, drop-in stores. Come on, drop in. You'll like it. Now here's Sue Price with the let's see, where are you, Sue? You're over the Cherry Mountain Fire District. Get my geography weight straight here. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Well, that's good. We got a nice morning over here. Looks like the sun's starting to peek out, so it's going to be another hot day, I guess. We're starting out at 69 degrees. And you said no rain for the weekend? That
doesn't look like much, but only a slight chance.
Well, let's see. I got no birthdays on my church calendar. On my personal calendar, I've got Caroline Setzer, and that's the only birthday I have. The other 2 calendars doesn't have anything for today, so not too many celebrating, but we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day. And in my announcements, the Duncans Creek Presbyterian Church is going to be having a ham supper. That'll be tomorrow night, starting at 4 and going to 8 p.m., country ham and all the trimmings. And also tomorrow, the closed giveaway at Glenwood Baptist Church from 7 to noon, and I think they're having breakfast from 7 to 10. And that's sponsored by the Sunshine Mission. And then worship at the River Sunday at 4:30. That's on Golden Valley Church Road. It says, bring your lawn chair. They'll have hot dogs and hamburgers and a baptism along with the worship service there at the river. And so far, that's the only announcements I have. It's just quiet and calm over this way, looking for a good day and a good weekend. I hope you and Faye will have one.
You think they'll sing that old song, Shall We Gather at the River?
They just might do that.
So have a great weekend.
You too, Jim.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You know, when you need a plumber, you want someone with a reputation of getting right out to you and getting the job done for you the right way. That'll be Olmsted Plumbing. Since 1973, the Olmsted family has been serving homeowners and builders with the best of service. From unclogging a drain to replacing fixtures and appliances to remodeling jobs, their top quality work, fair prices, and punctual service has made them the area's leading plumbing firm. Eric and Chad are continuing that family tradition, and they'd like to serve you. Call 245-7302. Experience plus equipment equals excellence. Olmsted Plumbing at 245-7302.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford-Ton.
Our next stop now is Union Mills, and we're going up to Union Mills to get the Kelly Report. And reporting this morning for Brenda Kelly is Brenda Kelly. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you on this fabulous Friday morning?
Oh, it's fabulous. It's a fabulous day.
It is. It's a nice day. I'm just sorry for all those people from the Bahamas all the way up that's had to deal with this terrible storm.
Yes.
It's awful.
Terrible to lose a life. It's terrible to lose. I have to shut your business down for weeks and days to rebuild. It's terrible to lose your house. Yeah, but it's
everything you got is what you got on your back.
Yep. I saw one man that lives in the Bahamas. He didn't have anything left but his family, and I thought, well, he said he had a lot to be thankful for, but he sure has to start all over again. But that's it. Unfortunately, that's just one of the tragedies of living somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Some folks live in tornado-stricken areas. They expect tornadoes to come quite frequently, but they choose to live there. And I guess we live in a great part of the country.
Yes, we do. The best part, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep, I agree with you.
And I was glad you announced that that singing at the Mills tonight, Union Mills. Somebody called me yesterday about that, and I told them I hadn't got anything on it. There was one little thing on the Round Hill calendar about Carly Airwood and Daniel, I can't pronounce that last name, Therakill or something like that, to be there tonight at the Learning Center. But they asked me about the supper, and I said, well, I don't know, but I listened this morning, and you did announce the supper.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's
baked spaghetti, I believe.
That's right. It should be a big night. Carly Airwood's quite an up and coming rising star. I don't know the gentleman that's playing with her, but I do know Carly Airwood. She's quite an entertainer.
Yeah.
Meal starts at 6, and that's baked spaghetti, salad, dessert, and drink for $5. You can't beat that.
No, usually I get something on that, but I didn't get it. So, if I ain't got it, I can't announce it. So
that's exactly right.
So, but we hope everybody's having a good morning. I've got 66 degrees this morning on the front porch. Birthdays today, I've got James Moore, Megan Kastner, Tracy O'Barr, and Dorothy Scott. Don't have anything on Round Hill. So hope all these people have a great old big day on their special day. In ways of announcement, we got the ROM reunion. That'll be the second Sunday in September at Macedonia Baptist Church following the morning worship service. Then we got a spaghetti supper at Thelma City United Methodist Church Saturday the 7th, 4 p.m. until, and adults is $8, kids 7 to 12, $3, 6 and under eat free. Then special singing Sunday, September the 8th, 6 p.m., Purpose Quartet, Sugar Hill Baptist Church, and this is at 657 Mudcut Road, Marion, North Carolina, 28752. And everyone's welcome to come out to that. And other than that, I don't have nothing. It's just short, sweet, and quiet, and we're enjoying it.
You know where the Lucky Strike gold mine is?
Yeah, it's up there on the, is it
near Vane Mountain?
It's on Polly Spouts, yeah.
Yeah. Last Saturday in October, there's going to be a fundraising singing up there. They're raising money the fire department's raising money to buy a boat, rescue boat, they don't have, and there's going to be a gospel singing out there at the Lucky Strike. Is it Lucky Strike?
Yeah, it's a Lucky Strike.
Strike Gold Mine, and Golden Valley Crusaders and In His Glory will be there to sing, and maybe some other.
Oh, that's going to be some good entertainment.
All day entertainment with barbecue. I'll have all of the details later on. I'll mention it.
Oh, well, that sounds good.
Last Saturday in October in the afternoon.
Oh, and it'll be pretty and cool, and the leaves will be all turned and everything. So that'll be good. I was just thinking this morning, what a good time we had up at Bain Mountain Church when all y'all got together and sang. And I get tickled at Butch Cook. He said, I always love to sing when Jim Bishop's here because I can look down on him.
I know.
He's a mess, ain't he?
I'm going to let the air out of his tire on his bus one of these days.
Well, there you go.
He's a mess. I love old Butch Cook.
But that's all right. See, you may be short, but you've got a beautiful voice. Yep. And there's a lot of people that's tall that don't have a voice to sing.
Well, I don't like heights. I don't like heights. That's why I was born short.
I don't like heights neither, but I'm not short for a woman.
Well, listen, you have a wonderful weekend.
You have a good one. We'll catch you later.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thinking about replacing some of that aging decor in your home? At Henson Building Materials, we offer a wide selection of kitchen and bath cabinets, windows and doors, as well as hardwood, ceramic, and vinyl flooring. Your home is your greatest investment. At Henson Building Materials, we deal with the most reputable suppliers so you can wisely reinvest back into your home. Stop by and see Shanna Martin. She can help you find the best home products that are right for you. Quality installation is also available. Henson Building Materials. We're more than just a lumber yard.
When you call a pest control company, you want to make sure they have honest and dependable experience. Hutchins Pest Control has all those qualities and more. 45 years experience in pest control service, now including moisture control, waterproofing, mold remediation, dehumidification, and more. Get rid of mice, rats, wildlife, fire ants, bed bugs, and termites. Call today for residential and commercial service. 287-5171. Voted best of best for 9 years. That's Hutchins Pest Control.
Let's go to Ellenboro, check on Luther Gilligan, see if he survived his wild birthday party yesterday. See if he's okay today. Luther, you okay?
You got a hangover.
From all that coffee and cake, huh?
That's right. I ate German chocolate cake and cupcakes and ice cream cake.
Oh, my.
Didn't check my sugar this morning.
Yeah, don't check it today. Wait a while.
No, wait on that. Don't get on the scales this morning. It probably consumed a lot of calories and a lot of sugar yesterday.
Well, that's all right.
But hey, I had a good time.
You'll outgrow it.
Right. Man said if you dance, got to pay the fiddler, so I guess I had to pay it. So I did that. Very quiet day. There wasn't anything going on. That's the biggest thing happened right here yesterday. Was my birthday. Didn't have no fires, no wrecks, no anything down here. No medical calls, no nothing. Fire department didn't make any runs. Nothing else going on, but we're going to have something going down here tomorrow. 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, jury out at church, going to be having that Southern gospel music singing over that. Going to be 2 or 3 different groups of singing over it. I start at 5 o'clock, then I have a hot dog dinner, plates at 4:30, start there. Everyone's invited, just come on over there and have a good toe-tapping time over there. And nothing else going on right here, Jeff. You have a great day up there. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you Monday.
You enjoy yours, Luther. Thanks for the report, and I'll see you next time.
All right, take care now.
Bye. Birthday time, birthday and anniversary here on the program for the 6th day of September, September the 6th. If you call yours into us now at 287-3356, we'll have a party, celebrate, give away some donuts from Granny B's Bakery, and we'll just have a big time on this Friday as we celebrate your birthday. 287-3356, and we'll announce those in just a moment.
If you haven't been to the Recliner Center lately, well, let me tell you, there's a lot of changes going on and a big secret, but that's going to be revealed later. But for now, I can reveal all the great merchandise that you'll find at the Recliner Center. You know, it's back to school time. That means a lot of time on the road, football, dance, basketball, and you still got a lot of yard work still yet to do, and your back is going to need all the help it can get. How about a new mattress from the Recliner Center? The kids are going to be bringing friends over. How about a redo in the family room? A new couch, love seat, rocker recliner. Recliners from small to big boy sizes. Do you or a loved one have difficulty standing? Well, the Recliner Center has a great selection of different styles and colors of lift chairs. Some of these chairs allow you to be able to get your feet above your head, offering comfort, style, security, and standing, and locally owned and operated. That's the Recliner Center. They're on Coopers Gap Road in Rutherfordton. Don't forget the Recliner Center's new hours, Wednesday through Friday, 9 to 4, Saturdays, 9 to 2.
That's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today. While they're fresh, they're good, they're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about.
Happy birthday.
Well, happy birthday wishes going out to Joe Davidson Jr. over the Shiloh community. Joe Davidson Jr. is celebrating a birthday today. Also on the birthday list is Marlene Pintuff. She's 59, works at the Rutherford County. Is that what it is? CRC? Cleveland County? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I can read Todd's reading, but I can't read Todd's writing sometimes. Marlene Pintuff, 59, works at the Rutherford County Jail. And Charlene Dale, 59, it's a twin to Marlene. Marlene and Charlene is having birthdays together. Ashley Wilson is 27 over in Forest City. Connie Walker over in Cane Creek community is Forest City postmaster. I want to wish Connie a happy birthday. Rodney Green over in Cane Creek also is happy birthday. Dale Whistnut, 71 over in Ellenboro. She's celebrating today. Sharon Edwards having a birthday. And Phoebe Keever, Grays Creek, celebrating a birthday. Also, it's their busy birthday on this 6th of the month. Also, James Moore, Megan Kastner, Trace O'Barr, and Dorothy Scott. So happy birthday, everybody. We'll see who's going to win the donuts in just a moment. Ellen Bradley and Patricia Bradley also celebrating birthdays today.
The Wright brothers have been working on their flying machine for some time, but without visible success. Finally, in December of 1903, they were able to get the plane off the ground for an extended distance. They sent word to their sister about their accomplishment and of their Christmas travel plans. They wrote to Catherine, "We have actually flown 120 feet. We'll be home for Christmas." Catherine was ecstatic at their success and the thought of having them home for the Christmas holidays. She rushed the news to the editor of the local newspaper. She searched the paper during the following days to see what would appear. Tucked away in the paper several days later was the newsline, "Wright boys to be home for Christmas." Nothing appeared about the historic flight at Kitty Hawk. The happenings of our annual Christmas season frequently remind me of the newspaper's reporting on man's first flight. The truly big story gets lost amongst the trappings. The greatest news is the coming of Jesus as the Savior of the world, but that is too often passed over by headlines concerning the latest toys for kids or how brisk the sales of Christmas merchandise. The giving of gifts is certainly in harmony with the spirit of Christmas, but too often that has taken center stage. We need to remember why we celebrate and give gifts. Let's be sure we remember the reason for the season. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
And big congratulations going out to Connie Walker, Cane Creek. She won the donuts this morning from the drawing. Connie Walker, Cane Creek, Far City Postmaster. She won the donuts this morning, so congratulations, Connie. We'll have that certificate right here. Stop by and pick that up. Well, I mentioned earlier a busy hour coming up next hour. Mr. Friday Night will be talking with us about tonight's lineup of football, and Mr. Chamber of Commerce, Clark Poole, will also be here to talk about some exciting things happening around the county. Plus, I'm going to squeeze in the opportunity to give away some tickets to a big concert coming over on Saturday night at the Foundation. Who knows what else might take place in that time period. Then at 8:30, of course, this morning, Word of Faith continues to speak out at 8:30 here in the Blue Room. A lot of exciting things happen right here on 100.9 FM, 590 AM, and thanks to you for making us the number one most listened to radio program in the foothills. Thank you so much. Now, the music we play after 9 o'clock until 11:30 is Classic Oldies, and after 3 o'clock until 5, Classic Oldies, and overnight is Classic Oldies, and we intersperse in there some information, bits and pieces of things you want to know about. But music like this one you'll hear.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. Gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day.
When this old world starts getting me down and people are just too much for me to face, I climb way up to the top of the stairs and all my cares just drift right into space. On the roof, the only place I know where you just have to wish to make it so. Let me tell you now, when I come home feeling tired and weak, I go up where the air is fresh and sweet. I get away from the hustling crowd and all that rat race noise down in the street. On the roof, the only place I know where you just have to wish to make it so. Let's go up on the roof. the stars put on a show for free. And darling, you can share it all with me. I keep a telling you, right smack dab in the middle of town, I found a paradise that's trouble-free. And if this world starts getting you down, there's room enough for two up on the roof, up on the roof. Oh, come on, baby. Oh, come on, honey. Everything is all right. Said it's all right.
Like the pine trees lining the winding road, I've got a name, I've got a name. Like the singing bird and the croaking toad, I've got a name, I've got a name. And I carry it with me like my daddy did, but I'm living the dream that he kept here. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by. Like a north wind whistling down the sky, I've got a song, I've got a song. Like the whippoorwill and the babies cry, I've got a song, I've got a song. And I carry it with me and I sing it loud. If it gets me nowhere, I go there proud. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by. Change me. I've got a dream, I've got a dream. Oh, I know I could share it if you want me to. If you're going my way, I'll go with you. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by. Moving me down the highway, rolling me down the highway, moving ahead so life won't pass me by.
Free tickets to the Phil Vassar concert. Saturday night's coming up here in just a few months. Your opportunity to win a pair of tickets. All right here, 100.9 FM, 590 AM. Congratulations to Connie Walker of Cane Creek. She's a Forest City postmaster. She won the donuts this morning from Granny B's.
WCAB, Rutherfordton. ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. Packing 90-mile-per-hour sustained winds, Hurricane Dorian could be an hour or two away from making landfall. ABC's Pete Combs in North Carolina.
Hurricane Dorian is now menacing the Outer Banks of North Carolina. They have been evacuated. It is now a Category 1 storm, and we expect landfall sometime today before it heads out to sea.
The storm blamed for 4 deaths in the U.S. ABC's Alex Stone is in Charleston, South Carolina this morning.
Work is being done here today to clean up the streets covered in tree limbs and leaves, plus to get down power lines out of the way and to get the electricity turned back on. Much of Charleston lost power during the hours that Hurricane Dorian was battering this city.
In the hard-hit Bahamas,
everything in Abaco is totally destroyed. It literally looked like we were bombed.
That man surveying the damage on Abaco Island after Dorian pummeled parts of the Bahamas for nearly 2 full days at a Category 5. 30 people are dead there. Officials fear that death toll could go higher. Labor Department releasing its new look on jobs in half an hour.
The job market's been one of the most stable parts of an increasingly volatile economy, which many analysts believe is on the verge of recession. Bankrate Washington Bureau Chief Mark Hamrick says it's starting to show when it comes to hiring, but so far the number is still steady.
The number of jobs added on a monthly basis down 30+% on a year-over-year basis.
That said, Hamrick still believes 160,000 or so jobs will have been added in August.
That's ABC's Daria Albinger. An American Airlines mechanic due in court today, accused of sabotaging a jet earlier this summer in Miami.
The federal charges say that the mechanic used a styrofoam material and some super glue to block a port leading to part of the jet's flight data system. Now, a tube is supposed to be attached to that port, and that's providing critical data on airspeed and which way the nose is pointed.
ABC senior transportation correspondent David Curley says the mechanic apparently wanted some overtime. You're listening to ABC News.
There's nothing like meeting face-to-face, and there's nothing like Zoom to make that happen. Zoom lets you connect and do business across town or around the world. Zoom ties together all of your communication needs into one easy platform for video conferencing, phone calls, group chat, webinars, and your conference rooms. Connect easily from anywhere, your mobile phone, your laptop, or conference room. Zoom is how business gets done. Get your free account at Zoom.com today. Meet happy with Zoom.
Ready to create your own income with your own home-based business where there's no such thing as getting laid off? If a billionaire entrepreneur spent 5 years and $20 million searching for the next big trend, wouldn't you want to know what he found? If you're serious about making money from home without having to leave home, then write this down. www.goherenext.com. You decide your income. Get the facts now. Goherenext.com.
With the CDC investigating hundreds of respiratory illnesses that could be linked to vaping, ABC's Ryan Burrow has been talking to a teenager from Illinois who's been in the hospital.
18-year-old Adam Hergenretter had been using e-cigarettes for more than a year when he started vomiting uncontrollably. Thinking it was the flu, he went to the hospital.
Just throwing up, and that's what I thought it was.
But a scan showed extensive damage and irritation to Adam's lungs, possibly from e-cigarettes. Adam is off a respirator now. He's been taking steroids for his lungs. He hopes to be released from the hospital in a matter of days and will recover, but doctors have told him
my lungs are never going to be, 100% again.
Ryan Burrow, ABC News, Chicago.
Fire making it tough to breathe in parts of Southern California. ABC's Clayton Sandell's there.
The blaze scorching close to 2,000 acres in Riverside County, 80 miles southeast of Los Angeles. A thick blanket of smoke and ash falling on nearby neighborhoods. More than 500 homes are evacuated.
Hundreds of firefighters have been called in to fight the fire that started just 2 days ago. Well, it's now official. Facebook dating is a thing, and it's coming to the U.S. People on Facebook and Instagram will be able to add their friends to what's called a secret crush list. If 2 friends add each other as a crush, Facebook dating makes a connection. In its safety guidelines, Facebook warns it does not conduct background checks. Facebook saying, quote, you interact with other users at your own risk. This is ABC News.
Here's Howie Long for Skechers Wide Fit Footwear.
I'm 6'5", and I can tell you there are certain challenges in life that only big guys understand. Regular clothes don't fit. Heck, regular cars don't fit. But when it comes to shoes, Skechers gets it. That's why I wear Skechers Wide Fit. They've got extra room throughout, giving you room to breathe. And they've got Skechers exclusive air-cooled memory foam for comfort that lasts all day long.
Find Skechers Wide Fit at a Skechers store near you or wherever stylish shoes are sold.
Clouds associated with Hurricane Dorian will gradually clear the area and give way to mostly sunny skies as we get into the afternoon. Expect high temperatures to top in the mid to upper 80s, and then by tonight, expect them in the lower 90s. Mostly clear conditions will persist as we get into the night with temperatures in the mid 60s. Highs for tomorrow will head into the mid to upper 80s with mostly sunny conditions around. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Thanks very much. It's 68 degrees currently here in beautiful downtown Whiteside Road. 68 degrees. We're warming up to 89 for a daytime high with just light wind blowing. Going to have a beautiful weekend all the way through. Perfect night for high school football Friday night. And we'll talk with Mr. Friday Night here in just a moment, right after this.
Summer means fun, and summer means savings at Carolina West Wireless. Right now, get $300 off the Samsung S10e. Even better, we have a great selection of smartphones for free. Already have your own device? Bring it in and save $150 when switching to us. Chat, text, and stream on our nationwide 4G LTE network and experience real saving this summer at Carolina West Wireless. Go, stay connected. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details.
With hits like Six Pack Summer and Just Another Day in Paradise, Bill Vassar is bringing his Hysteria Tour to the Foundation in Spindale on September 7th. Bill Vassar's Hysteria Tour. Tickets available now at foundationshows.org.
And we'll be giving away some tickets to that show here coming up here in just a few moments, right after we talk with Mr. Friday Night. Is always a big part of our Friday mornings. Have Mr. Friday Night Jay Coombs on the radio to talk about what's up for tonight. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, Jim.
You're excited about Friday, I know.
Jim, we have started off, this is week number 3, but 3 of our county teams are starting off the season in great shape, undefeated. What a game we had last week. That was one of the best total team efforts by Chase that I've seen in a number of years, and they had a big 40-0 win over Cherryville. Trojans are 2-0. Tonight, they have the open date. They do not play this week, but wow, what a way to go into the off week with a 40-0 shutout last week over Cherryville. By the way, I want to remind everybody, we have video highlights posted on the WCAB YouTube channel, about 12, 13 minutes worth of highlights. I think fans will enjoy going back and reliving the highlights from last week. Just a great win for the Trojans to go to 2-0, have the open date off this week. 2 of our other teams are undefeated. Hey, Central, the Hilltoppers are 2-0. They had a great win last week up in Morganton. They beat Patton 41-13. Tonight, a really good test for Central. They travel over to Columbus to take on the 2-0 Polk County Wolverines. These 2 teams have been playing since they renewed this season now. It's been 16 years in the books, renewed the series back in 2003. Polk County actually holding a 10-6 win margin over the past 16 years. But I like what the Hilltoppers are doing now, and let's see if we can move them up to 3-0 with a win tonight in Columbus. Thomas Jefferson, Griffins finally got to play last week. Their first week game got canceled. By the way, before I forget, they have picked up a game in a couple of weeks on September 20th. That was originally going to be an off week, an open date for TJ, but now they have a home game scheduled that night against the Greenwood, South Carolina Raptors. So fans, make a note on your schedule that open date on September 20th is now going to be a home game in Avondale, Greenwood, South Carolina Raptors at TJ. They had a great win last week, although neither the team nor the coaches were very pleased with the way they played. It's kind of ironic because they defeated the Hickory Hawks 48-0, but they've got a lot of work to do. They've got a young team. They definitely have some more, learning to do. But rest assured, Coach Cash and his staff will have the Griffins ready to play tonight. What a challenge. They make the road trip up to Winston-Salem to take on the 1-1 Carver Yellow Jackets. Carver got beat pretty handily last week by High Point Andrews, 62-20. But 2 weeks ago in the season opener, they walloped Madison by a score of 40-14. First time these two teams have ever played. In fact, the only time in recent history that a Rutherford County team has played Winston-Salem Carver. You have to go back 15 years, back to the 2004 season. That's when the Hilltoppers met the Yellow Jackets in the opening round of the 3A playoffs. Hilltoppers were defeated by the Yellow Jackets that night, 38-14. Our feature game of the week tonight comes to you from East Rutherford. I am absolutely dumbfounded that the Cavaliers have started off the year 0-2. I saw East during the scrimmage with East Henderson. They looked awesome that night. We're going to try to get them a win. It is their first game at home tonight. Cavaliers will be hosting Brevard. Blue Devils come in with a 1-1 record. Last week, a 42-0 shutout over Rosman. 2 weeks ago, they lost their season opener up in Burnsville to the hands of Mountain Heritage, 22-13. Wow, the last time these two teams played each other, it was historic. It was back in 2001. East Rutherford went into the first round of the 2A playoffs as the number 16 seeded team. Brevard was the top seed. It was a game we carried on the radio, a game I remember oh so well, and it was a great win for the Cavaliers, 24-14. These teams have not played in 15 years. Most, I guess you could say, all of the current players certainly won't remember that game from back in 2001. But looks like it's going to be a great night for football. All of our games with 7:30 kickoffs. Cliff and I will take to the air tonight at 6:45 as we bring you action between Brevard at East.
And, folks, if you want to hear somebody get excited about high school football, tune in and listen to Jay Coombs do the play-by-play on the radio tonight, or you can tune in on our website at www.wcab59.com. The man does get excited when a team is playing football. I think that makes listening to him on radio so much more interesting. Jay, thank you very much for that report, and we look forward to hearing you tonight.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
See you now. Bye-bye. All right, we're going to give away a pair of tickets now to the Phil Vassar concert, which is going to be over at the Foundation on Saturday night. I'll give a pair of tickets right now to caller number 7. Caller number 7 at 287-3356. Caller number 7, you got yourself a pair of tickets to see and hear the award-winning Phil Vassar on the radio. And Mr. Chamber of Commerce is in the Blue Room with me. We'll talk to him in just a moment. Have you heard the 3 big lies about Medicaid eligibility? First, if you need a nursing home, Medicaid will take your house. That's not true. Second, if you transfer assets, you have to wait 60 months to qualify. That's not true. And third, if you're already in a nursing home, it's too late to protect your assets. That's not true. Please call attorneys Gerald N. Willis, Ken Paulman, or Martin Gerard at the Arledge Law Firm for a free consultation and learn the truth about Medicaid and eligibility and nursing home care in North Carolina. It's more likely than you think that you may qualify and not lose everything you own. Call the Arledge Law Firm today at 287-3338, located on East Court Street in Rutherford. Again, that's 287-3338.
Do you need some extra money in your pocket? Try Insurance Service Associates, your local independent agent. We can shop your auto and home insurance with several companies to get you better coverage and the best rate. Insurance Service Associates at 127 East Trade Street in Forest City for auto, home, or commercial insurance. More choices, better coverage, best rate. That's Insurance Service Associates, 245-5301.
Thanks very much, Dwayne. 14 minutes after 8 o'clock. Again, congratulations to Connie Walker of Cane Creek Community. She's a Forest City postmaster, and she won herself some Daylight Donuts this morning from Granny B's. So congratulations to Connie. It's always a pleasure to have Mr. Chamber of Commerce, Clark Poole, in the studio with me. He's always interested and excited to talk about events in Rutherford County. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fantastically feeling good. How about you?
Great. Better than I deserve, as Dave Ramsey would say.
That's right. As long as we're above ground, we're happy, right?
That's right. That's right.
Exciting things happening. Let me mention who this is.
Sure.
Carrie Singleton of Saluda is the winner of this one. Carrie Singleton, caller number 7 of Saluda. She got herself a pair of tickets, and Carrie, those will be at the will call window Saturday night. Just identify yourself. They'll have those tickets for you Saturday night for the Phil Vassar concert. So there you go. All right. Go ahead now, Mr. Clark.
I got about 3 things I'd like to share with the good citizens of Rutherford County and beyond this morning, and I'm excited about them. You know, the administration passed a resolution to declare economic zones and opportunity zones for rural America. And in Rutherford County, we have 3 such opportunity zones, meaning that developers can come in and start a business of some kind and enjoy the benefits of no capital gains, which is an important thing if you're an investor. And this September the 10th at the foundation at ICC, we're going to be having a meeting with President Dalton will be there, Scott Datson, who is the spearhead and leader of IPDC about the opportunity zones, to share with the folks that are interested in any kind of investment or just interested in what's happening in the county in terms of economic development to be able to attend. That's from 3 o'clock until 6 o'clock, and the public's invited. I think we'll get some great information from the bank in Richmond, from President Dalton, and from Scott Datson in terms of what that means for us in a positive way. You know, we've been talking for several days and years and months about a quality of life, and I want you to know there's some things that are going to help all of us get healthier living. On September the 21st, you can walk with the doc. And if you need information about walking with a doc, just taking a step toward a little bit healthier lifestyle, and instead of walking 100 feet, you might be able to walk 200 feet and then a mile, and who knows. But just call 828-202-4630 and let them give you information about walking with the doc. Hope to see you on September the 21st as you walk around. For those of us who used iodine and baby oil when we were teenagers to get a tan, there's going to be a free skin cancer screening, and it's going to be Saturday, November the 9th. I'm telling you this now because we have a tendency to fill up our calendar dates, and it's free, and it's a screening that could save your life. So free skin cancer screening hosted by the Community Health Council, and it's going to be at the Cancer Resource Center. It's by appointment only, so call 245-4596 and sign up for this cancer screening. You know, to be able to survive such a terrible disease as cancer, it is important to be able to have a celebration. And on October the 11th, we will be sponsoring a Cancer Survivor Celebration. It's a free countywide event celebrating survivorship and showing support. It's from 4:30 to 7:30. And you can RSVP. It's going to be at the McNair Field, and it's 245-4596. Have an opportunity to share with those who have survived this terrible disease. Finally, in terms of announcements, I'm doing well, Jim. On October the 19th, on Saturday, we're going to have the official grand opening of the Thermal Belt Rail Trail. It will be complete, and it will be loaded to the gills with folks from the county and from all around to celebrate the connectivity of our communities in our county, a celebration of the wonderful economic emphasis that's going to give us. The Thermal Rail Trail, Saturday, October the 19th, grand opening. I know you want to comment on this. Go ahead.
That's already brought a lot of people into our county.
Oh, it's brought a lot of people in our county, filling up our restaurants and our hotels, but it's also brought a lot of people in our county to the outdoors in the afternoons and in the early mornings. Yeah. You see people all the time, and you know it's kind of like gathering around the old general store and the stove. People are stopped on the trail talking with each other, getting reacquainted, saying, hey, how you doing? I think it's just a wonderful thing. And normally I don't do this, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a chance. The Chamber of Commerce is about assisting in economic prosperity and quality of life. You know, I've been amazed at how polarized our nation is, how angry everybody seems, how limited they are in what they want to share with one another. If you have a different idea than I do, I can't like you. You're no good. Not really trying to understand the person. And I think it can have some serious consequences for our nation and for us as individuals. I'm going to read this, and I'm going to ask you, if I don't mess it up, I'm going to ask you what you think you might do when this is presented to you. At a fundraising dinner for a school that serves children with learning disabilities, the father of one of the students delivered a speech that at a fundraising dinner for a school that serves children with learning disabilities is really special. After extolling the school and its dedicated staff, he offered a question. When not interfered with by outside influences, every nature does is done with perfection. Yet my son Shay cannot learn things as other children do. He cannot understand things as other children do. Where there's a natural order of things in all of us, I believe that when a child like Shay, who has mentally and physically disabled, comes into the world, an opportunity to realize true human nature presents itself, and it comes in the way other people treat that child. He told the following story. Shay and I walked past a park where some boys were playing. Shay knew these boys, and Shay asked, "Do you think they'll let me play?" They knew that most of the boys would not want someone like Shay on their team, but as a father, I also understood that it were my son were allowed to play, it would give belonging and some confidence to be accepted by others in spite of his handicaps. I approached one of the boys on the field and asked, not expecting much, if Shay could play. The boy looked around for guidance and said, "We're losing by 6 runs and the game is in the 8th inning. I guess he can be on our team and we'll try to put him in the bat in the 9th inning." Shay struggled over to the team's bench and with a broad smile put on a team shirt. I watched with a small tear in my eyes and warmth in my heart. Shay struggled over to the team's bench and with a broad smile put on a team shirt. I watched with a small tear in my eye and warmth in my heart. The boys saw my joy at my son being accepted. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Shay's team scored a few runs but was still behind. In the top of the 9th inning, Shay put on a glove and played in the right field. Even though one no-hit came to his way, he was obviously ecstatic just to be in the game. And on the field, grinning from ear to ear as I waved to him from the stands. In the top of the 9th inning, Shay put on a glove. I hope I can get through this, Jim. Put on a glove and played in the right field. Even though no one hit to him, he was really glad to be there. So in the bottom of the 9th inning, Shay's team scored again. Now with 2 outs and the bases loaded, the potential winning run was on base, and Shay was scheduled to be next at bat. At this juncture, well, I just messed it up. Hold on. That wasn't intentional. At this juncture, they let Shay bat and give away their chance to win the game. Surprisingly, Shay was given the bat. Everyone knew that a hit was not going to be in the cards because he didn't even know how to hold the bat. However, as Shay stepped up to the plate, the pitcher recognized the other team was putting winning aside for this moment in Shay's life, moved a few steps to lob the ball in softly so Shay could make connection. The first pitch came and Shay swung clumsily and missed. The pitcher again took a few steps forward to toss the ball. After the pitch came in, Shay swung at the bat and hit a slow grounder ball right back at the pitcher. The game would now be over. The pitcher picked up the soft grounder and could easily have thrown the ball to the first baseman. Shay would have been out, and that would have been the end of the game. Instead, the pitcher threw the ball right over the first baseman's head, out of reach of all the teammates. Everyone from the stands and both teams started yelling, "Shay, run!" Never in his life had Shea ever run that far, but he made it. Never in his life had ever run that far, but he made it to first base, and then he scampered down the baseline, wide-eyed and startled. Everyone yelled, "Run to second, Shea, run to second." Catching his breath, Shea awkwardly ran toward second, gleaming and struggling to make it to the base. By the time Shea rounded toward second base, the right fielder had the ball, the smallest guy on the team who now had his first chance to be the hero for the team. He could have thrown out the ball to the second baseman for the tag, but he understood the pitcher's intentions, so he too intentionally threw the ball high and far over the third baseman's head. Shea ran toward third base, delirious as the runners ahead of him circled the bases. "Run, Shea, run. All the way, Shea." Shea reached third base, and because the opposing shortstop ran to help him by turning him in the direction of third base and shouted, "Run to third." As Shea rounded third, the boys from both teams and the spectators were on their feet screaming, "Shea, run home, run home." Shea ran to home, stepped on the plate, and was cheered as a hero. "That day," said the father softly, with tears now rolling down his face, "the boys from both teams helped bring a piece of true love and humanity into this world." Shea didn't make it another summer. He died that winter, having never forgotten being a hero and making me so happy. Sorry about the tears. You know, we don't have to hate each other, and our quality of life will be improved if we take the time to acknowledge the worth of an individual who may be on the fringe. And then when we have our economic progress and we have all of our wonderful qualities of life, we'll be a community that supports each other and says, "Run, Shea, run." Thanks for letting me share that.
Well said, Mr. Clark Poole, Director of the Chamber of Commerce. I'll be back in just a moment with the Sheriff's Report. When choosing a hospital or a health system, you should ask what quality and patient safety efforts are being implemented in that organization. For example, at Rutherford Regional Health System, several new quality and patient safety initiatives have been set in place to ensure an even greater level of care for its patients. Under the guidance of the Due Quality Network, Rutherford Regional has begun bedside shift reporting, which emphasizes better face-to-face communication with patients and families. Patient safety huddles also have been started to allow caregivers the opportunity twice a day to review risks of infection, falls, and other harms. An executive patient safety rounding allows our administrators to make sure our clinical staff has the tools they need to deliver great care. Rutherford Regional is proud to make quality and patient safety its top priorities.
Hello from all of us at Smith's Drugs in downtown Forest City. Check out our newly remade website at smithsdrugsfc.com and see how you can download our mobile app to make refilling your prescription so easy. You can create multiple profiles for everyone in your family and send refill notices anytime, saving you from calling in or leaving messages. Check out our Facebook page and see new items from the gift shop and on-sale items that can include t-shirts, leggings, shoes, toys, and other seasonal gifts. Our home medical equipment department at Smith's Drugs has all of your CPAP therapy needs for supplies that include filters, tubings, and masks, as well as our 2 respiratory therapists to help you get the full benefits of your CPAP and answer any questions or concerns that you are having. We also have lift chairs, diabetic shoes, and offer mastectomy services here at Smith's Drugs. Also, we have daily specials in our old-fashioned soda fountain at just $3.99 for breakfast and $5.99 for lunch. And we can help you with some fried pound cake and ice cream or milkshakes for dessert. We also want to thank all of Rutherford County for your loyal support and trust that has allowed us to serve you since 1939. Thank you to Rutherford County and Forest City from all of us at Smith's Drugs at 139 East Main Street.
We give away another pair of tickets to the Phil Vassar Show on Saturday night. If you'll be caller number 5 at 287-3356, you got yourself a pair of tickets to the Phil Vassar Show at the Foundation on Saturday night, 287-3356. Now here is Deputy King with our Sheriff's Report.
In the past 24 hours, Sheriff's Department has responded to 182 calls for service. There were 10 arrests processed in the jail, and the jail currently has 176 people incarcerated. The one incident report we have today was Shirley Morgan from Ashland Drive in Ellenboro reported larceny of a firearm and misdemeanor larceny. looks like a revolver and some medication and $200 in U.S. currency were taken in that incident. On our arrest reports, a Chad Piercy from Helicopter Place in Union Mills was arrested and charged with possession of a Schedule II controlled substance and resist obstruct delay of an officer, received a $7,500 secured bond. Jeremy Airwood from Shasta Lane in Mooresboro was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $500 secured bond. Kevin Smith from Hardin Road in Forest City was served with a show cause order. Jose Rojas from Willow Run Drive in Forest City was also served with a show cause order. And a Dustin Harrison from Gillespie Road in Mooresboro was served with a violation of a domestic violence protection order and was placed on domestic violence hold. And that's all we have for today.
Thanks so much to Deputy King. Congratulations to Terry Williams of Rollins Street, Forest City. She won the tickets to the Phil Vassar Show on Saturday night as well. That's two of our winners this morning. First winner this morning, of course, was Carrie Singleton from Saluda, and then Terry Williams from Forest City. We'll have those at the will call window for you on Saturday night.
Clouds associated with Hurricane Dorian will gradually clear the area and give way to mostly sunny skies as we get into the afternoon. Expect high temperatures to top in the mid to upper 80s, and then by tonight, expect them in the lower 90s. Mostly clear conditions will persist as we get into the night with temperatures in the mid 60s. Highs for tomorrow will head into the mid to upper 80s with mostly sunny conditions around. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It's 69 degrees currently at WCAB. It's 8:31. Welcome to the Word of Faith Responds. This series of programs will address the issues concerning the negative news reports. This program is paid for by Word of Faith, and the views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the management and staff of WCAB. Now here is Word of Faith Responds.
Good morning and welcome to the Word of Faith Responds. I'm Gerald Sutherland, Associate Pastor of the Word of Faith Fellowship here in Spindale, North Carolina. It's always a pleasure to be with you, to be with Jim here in the Blue Room, WCAB. We thank you for joining us. And I want to share something with you today that God's really put on my heart recently that has begun to change my life, and I believe it'll change your life as you allow God to speak to your heart today. It's on the subject of desperation. And it seems appropriate to me, I was just thinking about it this morning, that God allowed me to speak to you on this subject because we have all faced some desperation this last week, especially here on the East Coast of the United States, and even in North Carolina and South Carolina, Georgia, right on down into Florida, with a devastating storm. In fact, the news people called it a monster that was sitting out there in the Atlantic Ocean. Finally reached Category 5 with winds sustained at 185 miles an hour, and then wind gusts over the Bahamas of over 220 miles per hour, and practically decimated those islands. And so during that time, and the people who lived along the coast in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and even on up into Virginia, were faced with the threat of this storm coming up in their direction and possibly causing them loss of life, loss of property. And it's been a time of desperation, no doubt, all up and down the coast. And that time of desperation we've seen many, many times before. In fact, I was just thinking last night of what happened in September on the 11th, 2001, when the Twin Towers of the Trade Center in New York came tumbling down in just a matter of a few minutes. And people's lives were destroyed, families were destroyed, properties were destroyed. People in America and all across the nation became so desperate to find God. I'm told that during that time, in fact, I heard it reported, that during that time, huge stadiums were filled with people who were praying and crying out to God for God's mercy. We found ourselves in a place of desperation, like nothing we had seen in a lifetime. And people were very, very distressed and in despair, hopelessness, were fearful for their lives. But you know, it only seemed to last for a few days. And after that, people went back to the way they were living, taking no more thought of what could happen, what had just happened. But, I've noticed over the years that it's easy to get desperate for God when you face dire circumstances like that which I was just speaking of, and about that hurricane that was a threat to our country. And we've all experienced in our lives, in our personal lives, our families, we've experienced times when we didn't know what to do. We were in despair, our lives were distressed because of the loss of a loved one, or the destruction of our homes, or been to the doctor and the doctor's done all the tests and it's come back with the results that you have a debilitating disease, or you have a disease that's going to take your life in a short period of time. And you find yourself in a place of where you want to look toward God, want to seek God for His direction, for His mercy in your life. And I'm often reminded of a bumper sticker I saw many years ago. God brings it to my remembrance many times. A car pulled up behind me and had a bumper sticker on it that said, "When all else fails, pray." And I didn't think too much about it at the time, but the more I began to think about it, I thought how sad that people would come to that place of desperation before they would turn their hearts to God. And after the destruction, the threat of destruction is over, after the threat of death, or the loss of life, or loss of property, or you get those bills in the mail you weren't expecting, and you don't have the money to pay them, and you're tempted to just give up, throw up your hands and quit. As a matter of fact, what I've learned over the years is when people get in dire circumstances like that, they'll either do one of two things. They'll either turn their hearts to God and cry out to God, or they'll turn to bitterness, and sometimes they'll turn to drugs, they'll turn to alcohol, they'll turn to even many times suicide because they're so distressed. But God is wanting us to learn that we ought to live in desperation every day of our lives, knowing that without Him we can do nothing. I want to ask you today to turn with me, to begin with, to the book of Hebrews, the 5th chapter, the 7th verse, if you have your Bible there. Hebrews chapter 5, verse 7. I read this often because it reminds me of the desperation that Jesus lived in every day of His life when He was here on this earth. And it says, in the days of His flesh, Jesus offered up definite, special petitions for that which He not only wanted but needed, and supplications with strong crying and tears to Him who was always able to save Him out from death. And He was heard because of His reverence toward God. Because of His reverence toward God, His godly fear, His piety, in that He shrank from the horrors of separation from the bright presence of the Father. Jesus faced that every day of His life. He knew without the Father He could do nothing. And it goes on in verse 8 to say, although He was a son, He learned active special obedience through what He suffered. Do we learn that through what we suffer? Do we learn through the things that we go through, the tests and the trials that we face every day of our lives, that we need God, we need Jesus every day? Not just every day, but every moment. Every breath that we take, we depend on God for that breath. I want to ask you also to turn with me to Matthew chapter 24. Jesus said that in the last days, desperate times are going to come. Matthew chapter 24, verse 37, God says, as were the days of Noah, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Jesus spoke these words. It was a prophetic word of the days in which you and I live. We are living in the last days. I'm not one who prophesies doom and destruction. I'm not one that says that I know when the return of Jesus will take place by any means whatsoever. But we know because of the signs of the time, and I know Carol Reynolds was here recently and was teaching you about what to expect and what we should be looking at because of the signs of the time that are happening. But Jesus' return is soon. But He said in these last days, just as it was in the days of Noah, so will it be in this day in which we live. For just as in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, men marrying and women being given in marriage, until the very day when Noah went into the ark. Now, I was reading that one day, and I wonder what's wrong with marrying. What's wrong with being given in marriage? What's wrong with eating the food that you need and drinking the drink that you need? What is wrong with that? And God said, what's wrong with it is that it's just symbolic of just living your everyday life, going about your routines, doing the things that people are expected to do. They're looking for a wife. They're looking for a husband. They're looking to have children. They're looking to have a home without a mortgage. They're looking for cars that are paid for. They're looking for a job that provides a lot of money for them. They're just going about their everyday lives. Everything is normal, and they don't even know. They're not even aware of how desperate they are. And that's the way it was in the days of Noah. The people that lived around Noah were desperate and didn't even know it. The Bible calls Noah a preacher of righteousness. His very lifestyle preached of what a respect and a reverence for God the man had, to the place that he obeyed and did what God told him to do. For over 100 years he was building the ark to save his family and himself. And they did not know, verse 39 says, they didn't know. They didn't understand until the flood came and swept them all away. And so will be the coming of the Son of Man. My question for you today, and the question that God's put before me, are you desperate for God? Are you desperate to know God, to know not just about God, but to know God personally? To know that without Him, you won't make it today? I'm so grateful for God putting that on my heart. I get up every morning with the responsibility to go to the church, to lead prayer. We have prayer every morning from 10 to 11, to take responsibility for helping to minister to the lives of other people. And I know nothing about doing all those things without God giving me wisdom and direction. Every day I get up with that in my heart. God, I need you today. In fact, I prayed that before I came here this morning. I don't know what to say to the people that will reach their hearts. Only you know that. And I began to cry out to God, God, show me. And God said He would show you today that He wants us to live in that place of desperation every day where we need Him. In the book of James, chapter 4, verse 13, the Apostle James says, come now, you who say today or tomorrow, we will go into such and such a city and spend a year there, and carry on our business and make money. And you know, people live like that all the time. They can't wait till they get out of high school so they can go to college and get a degree. They go to law school, go to med school, go to some other school and get their training so they can go out and get a good job paying a lot of money so that they can buy that beautiful home that they want and the family that they want and the cars they want and the things they want. They enjoy all of the things of the world, the entertainment, the sports, you name it, and they have no thought of what tomorrow will be. The next verse, verse 14. Yet you do not know the least thing about what may happen tomorrow. And isn't that the truth? I don't know the first thing about what may happen tomorrow, and neither do you. He said, you don't know, but why are you planning for tomorrow as though you already know? What is the nature of your life? You're really but a wisp of vapor, a puff of smoke, a mist. Compared to eternity, that's true. Even if you live to be 100 years old, what is 100 years old compared to eternity? And yet, what do we spend most of our lives doing? Preparing for tomorrow. Preparing for where we're going to go on vacation. What we're going to do with the money we have. What are we going to do about this situation, that situation? And our life is but a wisp of smoke, a mist that is visible for a little while and disappears into thin air. It comes and it goes. He said, you ought instead to say, if the Lord is willing, we shall live, and we shall do this or that thing. But as it is, you boast falsely in your presumption. You know what presumption is? Thinking you know apart from God. For me to think I knew anything apart from God is presumption. He said it's boastful, false, and your presumption and your self-conceit. All such boasting is wrong, he said. So any person who knows what is right to do but does not do it, to him it is sin. every day that we live, that we do things that's not been instructed by God, it doesn't have God's approval, the Bible says it's sin. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, we call it the Sermon on the Mount, we call it the Beatitudes, but in Matthew chapter 5 verse 6, Jesus said, blessed and fortunate and happy and spiritually prosperous in that state in which the born-again child of God enjoys his favor and salvation. God's favor and salvation are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, uprightness, and right standing with God, for they shall be completely satisfied. They shall be completely satisfied. Those that are hungry and thirsty for righteousness. You know, there are a lot of things that we think we need in this life. Some things we think we couldn't do without. Some things we could perhaps do without but don't want to do without. But there's two things that we cannot survive without. One of them is food, and the other one is water. And Jesus used that as an analogy to show us that the things that we need the most, when we hunger and thirst after that thing, it's the most important thing in our lives. The next breath that we breathe is a dire need for everybody. It's something that we must have to survive. Jesus said, you're blessed when you hunger and thirst, not for natural food, not for natural drink, but for spiritual food and spiritual drink. Blessed are you. Hungering and thirsting means desperation. You're desperate to know God, to know the ways of God, to hear the voice of God. Are you desperate today to hear the voice of God? Are you facing a decision today that you do not want to make without knowing what the will of God is and the plan of God? I've been in that place many, 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 many times over the years where I didn't know what to do. Times where we were facing signing the papers for a mortgage for 30 years to buy a house. Didn't know anything about how we were going to pay off that mortgage, or to buy a car that was 10 times more than the car cost when I was growing up. But realizing that I have an opportunity once again to believe God. I remember when my wife and I had two small children. Our youngest son, Jeff, was just a few months old, and something appeared on his body one morning, and we were fearful about what it was, something that looked like it could be serious. So we took him to the doctor that morning, and the doctor said, well, I don't want to frighten you. Well, he did. He said, I don't want to frighten you, but it could be that he has leukemia. Well, he said, there's no use in you hanging around here. It'll be a while before we get the results of the tests. So we went back home, took Jeff home, put him to bed. Still had those bruises all over his body that looked very, very serious. So I told my wife, I said, Linda, I can't sit here all day worrying about this. I said, I'm going back to work. So I got in the car and went back to work. I lived in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. I worked for Burlington Industries at the time. And I could tell you the place where I went under the traffic light on my way back to work, when God spoke to my heart and said, don't worry about it. Everything's going to be okay. I went on back to work, and I was sorely tempted to be desperate that day. But I stayed in that place in peace and God. Got home that afternoon. My wife met me at the door, and I said, wait a minute before you tell me anything. Jeff's going to be all right. She said, yeah, how'd you know? I said, God told me. But I was desperate to know God that day. But I want to stay in that place of desperation. Sure enough, the doctor called back and said, we've done all the tests. He's going to be okay. It's not leukemia. We were so grateful to God. In Mark chapter 10 and verse 47, there's a man that came to Jesus. He was called a rich man. And it says, as Jesus was setting out on his journey, a man ran up, not walked to him, ran up to him and knelt before him and asked him. And the word ask there means to practically to beg out of desperation. Good master, what must I do to inherit salvation in the Messiah's kingdom? This man was desperate to know God. He was desperate to know how to enter into the kingdom of God. And Jesus said to him, why do you call me good? There's no one good except God alone. You know the commandments. Do not kill. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. Do not bear false witness. Do not defraud. Honor your father and your mother. And he replied to him, Teacher, I've carefully guarded and observed all these and taken care not to violate them from my boyhood. He was desperate to know God. And yet he thought, I've done everything you've told me to do there. So why am I still missing God? I was that way. God, I've been to church. I've done this in church. I've done that in church. But I knew on the inside of me something was missing. I still didn't know God to the level that he wanted me to know him and that I needed to know him. And Jesus, looking upon him, loved him. Isn't that wonderful? He saw the distress that was on that young man. And he knew that the man knew that he needed God in his life. But he said to him, you lack one thing. Just one thing. Now you'd think people would be excited over there, wouldn't you? There's just one thing I'm lacking. Jesus said, go and sell all you have, give the money to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, and come and accompany me, walk in the same road that I walk. Now you would have thought the man would have said, Jesus, you stay right there. I'm going to go sell everything I've got, give it all to the poor, and I'm going to come back and follow you. But the next verse says, at that saying, the man's countenance fell and was gloomy. And he went away grieved and sorrowing, for he was holding great possessions. He wasn't desperate because he didn't have enough money to pay his bills. He wasn't desperate because he lacked the material things that he needed in his life. He was a rich man. He didn't like that. But the one thing he lacked was God. And you know, you may be listening to my voice today. You're hearing what God's speaking to your heart. And you don't lack money. You've got all the money you could ever want. And yet there's one thing you're lacking. And that's a relationship with God. This rich man thought that he was desperate, but he wasn't, because he had an idol in his life. That idol was his money. He wanted his money more than he wanted God. There are a lot of people in the world like that today. But you know, they don't know that with God, you can be blessed abundantly above all that you could ask or think. God said through Isaiah the prophet in chapter 55, verse 6, and I read this a lot, seek, inquire for, and require the Lord while he may be found. Seek the Lord. Search for him. Inquire of him. Claiming him by necessity, that you've got to have him. God, I need you today. Jesus, I need you in my life today. I don't know what to do without you. Let the wicked forsake his own way, and the unrighteous man his own thoughts. And let him return to the Lord, or repent, and he will have love. God will have love, pity, and mercy for him, and to our God, for he will multiply to him his abundant pardon. When we search for him, we cry out to him with all of our heart, God, I need you today, and I want you today, not just because my circumstances are dire, but because I know that I need you. I can't make it without you. There's another man in the Bible called Jonah. It's in the Old Testament, Jonah chapter 1, verse 1. And it's not a fable, by the way. It really happened. There was a certain man by the name of Jonah, son of Amittai. And God said to him, arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, proclaim against it, for their wickedness has come up before me. Instead of Jonah getting up and going toward Nineveh, it says he rose up to flee to Tarshish from being in the presence of the Lord as his prophet, and went down to Joppa, found a ship going to Tarshish, the most remote of the Phoenician trading places then known. That was the end of the world for people that lived in that day. So he paid the appointed fare, went down into the ship to go with them to Tarshish from being in the presence of the Lord as his servant and minister. And you know what happened if you've ever read that story. A storm came. God allowed a storm to come against that ship, and it was beginning to break up and to sink. And where was Jonah? He was asleep in the bottom of that boat. Jonah was desperate for his life and didn't even know it. He thought he had fled from the presence of God. Everything was all right. Here the storms come up, and the captain of the ship came to him and said, what do you mean, you sleeper? Arise, call upon your God, because they were heathen. They'd been calling on their idols. They're false gods. But they had more of an awareness of their desperation than Jonah did. Jonah was asleep. A lot of people are asleep today. Not in the natural, but they're asleep in the spirit. They think they got it made. It's like the man that said, I'm going to tear down my barns and build bigger barns. I don't have enough room to put all the produce that I have. Jesus said, you're a fool. This day your soul will be required of you. The very thing that he needed was to know God. Jonah was desperate, but he didn't even know it. In Philippians chapter 3, the Apostle Paul spoke these words. Philippians chapter 3, verse 10. For my determined purpose is, not just purpose, my determined purpose, that I may know him, that I may progressively become more deeply and intimately acquainted with him, perceiving and recognizing and understanding the wonders of his person more strongly and more clearly, and that I may in that same way come to know the power outflowing from his resurrection. And I used to read that and I thought, God, if the Apostle Paul didn't know you, who do I think I am? Did I think I know you? Because Paul said, I am desperate to know God. I've got to know you. That if possible, I may attain to the spiritual and moral resurrection that lifts me out from among the dead even while in this body. Paul said, I haven't attained to that ideal, nor have I already been made perfect. But he said, I press on to lay hold of and grasp and make my own that which Christ Jesus has laid hold of me and made me his own. Now listen to verse 13. I do not consider, brethren, that I have captured and made it my own yet. But one thing I do, it is my one aspiration. This is the Apostle Paul. This is my one aspiration. Aspiration means the most important thing in your life. Paul said, this is my one aspiration, the most important thing in my life. Forgetting what lies behind and straining forward to what lies ahead. I press on toward the goal to win the supreme and heavenly prize to which God in Christ Jesus is calling us upward. Paul said, the one thing that I desire above all things is that I might know God. I'm not here today to tell you that I've reached that place either, but I'm pressing toward that mark of realizing that without God directing me, guiding me, leading me, speaking to my heart, I'm desperate today to hear the voice of God. I'm desperate every day to hear the voice of God, to know what God is saying to me. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 6, verse 33, but seek, aim at, and strive after, first of all, his kingdom. Not first of all, money. Not first of all, relationships with other people. Not first of all, with the material things that you desire. I thought at one time there was a car back in the late 60s, a car that I saw that I liked, that I had to have it. Just absolutely had to have it. That was my one aspiration at that time. My wife didn't want to buy it. I said, well, that's our car. I went and bought it. It's the worst decision, one of the worst decisions I ever made in my life. Never had a day of peace with that car. Nothing but trouble. A brand new automobile, and had to eventually have the engine replaced, had everything replaced, and it still wasn't running right. It was the worst decision I ever made. But since then, I've endeavored to seek God on every car that I buy, every house that I buy, every suit that I buy. I want to know, God, what is your will today? I went in my closet this morning and I said, Lord, what tie would you have me wear? Now, some people out there are going to say, that is so foolish. God's not the least bit interested in what tie you wear today. Well, let me tell you something. The Bible says in the book of Job that nothing is trivial with God. This tie is not trivial with God. He sees everything that is in my life that's important. Let me encourage you today, cry out to God and let God work that desperation in you, that you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're not going to make it without Him today, that you need Him to lead you, guide you, direct you. We have testimonies of people on our website, www.wordoffaithfellowship.org, that have shared with you on this program the desperation they were in their lives until they found God through Jesus Christ. I trust you'll have a wonderful day today. Walk with Him and rely on Him for everything you need. In Jesus' name. Thank you for joining me.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The eye of Hurricane Dorian and its 90-mile-an-hour sustained winds closing in on Cape Hatteras and North Carolina's Outer Banks. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano, not far away in Nags Head.
Across both Carolinas, we've seen winds gusting to 60 miles an hour, some to hurricane force. That's knocked down trees, power lines, and over 300,000 people are without power. And the